Mass Effect 3 Citadel is the third and final full-length single-player DLC meant to be one final chance to see the characters the fans have known for years and rekindle romances. The plot is described as a sinister conspiracy targeting Commander Shepard, and Shepard needing to uncover the truth while battling through the Citadel Wars and the top secret Council archives alongside your crew from Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, redundantly stating that it also includes Wrex. As far as I've been able to tell, Citadel has been positively received overall by most fans of the Mass Effect series, mostly due to the heavy character-based content. I recently got a chance to play Citadel, and I can honestly say that it's much more fun playing it for myself than watching the cutscenes on YouTube. However, I found all the inconsistencies and plot holes that much more jarring, and I found myself asking a lot of questions. Let's take a look at some of these questions in Mass Effect 3 Citadel. We begin this priority level mission, as with all DLCs, with an email, and already the Citadel DLC is off to a flimsy premise. What repairs? Did the Normandy take damage at some point, or did something break that Shepard wasn't aware of? And a lot of action? The Normandy is a stealth recon ship whose main tactics throughout the game have been hiding in plain sight with its stealth systems or running away from big threats. The most combat action the Normandy has seen is the Urdnot mission, where the only fighting the Normandy took part of was shooting at the origin of the Reaper code, and possibly shooting at the Reaper on Urdnot alongside the rest of the Quarian fleet. Oh, and I guess there was that bit at the beginning of the game. Skipping ahead, these repairs give the Normandy a war asset bonus, somehow, stating that the environment of space, the retained heat of stealth mode, and burning of a fusion plant puts stress on the Normandy, which is to be expected when flying in space with that tech. But aren't the heat cells from the stealth system being vented every time the Normandy docks on the Citadel, along with any other type of maintenance being done while docked? The reason for the order should have stated that Hackett wants to be sure the Normandy is in top shape, as there may not be time later during the war to do any type of heavy maintenance. Also, retrofit the Normandy with what? Isn't the Normandy already the most advanced ship in the galaxy? Maybe Hackett meant finishing the retrofitting they started on Earth, but had to stop due to a pesky Reaper invasion. Good, because I hate seeing that mess in the corner, and that exposed tube running on the floor. Seriously, that's a trip hazard waiting to happen. The biggest issue, however, is Hackett's orders for a mandatory shore leave at the most critical point of the start of the climax. Most, if not all, fans who played Citadel most likely started up where the game drops off Shepard after finishing the game and receiving a note to buy more DLC. I mean, thank the fans. Which just happens to be before the assault on Kronos Station. Granted, Citadel can be played anytime after services fail coup, but in order to get the most out of the Citadel DLC, it has to be played after the Sanctuary mission, which means for optimal interaction. This DLC takes place before the assault on the Luciman's headquarters, thus delaying the end of the Reaper threat. I can understand doing basic maintenance on the Normandy before a big battle. I can understand giving the crew a day off so they get a chance to talk to loved ones one last time before the big battle. But shore leave? So as Shepard investigates identity theft best left to the proper authorities, the Reapers are invading every homeworld. As Shepard and crew get drunk off their asses and party, Cerberus is indoctrinating more humans. As Shepard enjoys themselves on the Citadel, the Reapers are harvesting humans for Arnold 2.0. Somehow. Wow, that was a lot of nitpicking, and the DLC hasn't properly started. Well, as ordered, let's head over to Anderson's place. I wonder if that's before or after Shepard gets the details from the text. Everyone already knows where this apartment bit is headed. At Anderson's place, Anderson wants to give Shepard the apartment that he and Kaylee Sanders were going to settle down in because Shepard needs a place they can call their own, where they can rest and recharge. Now, I can understand this from a relaxation standpoint, as though the captain's cabin on the Normandy is roomy. It's still a work-related place, but a place Shepard can call their own? Couldn't Shepard just rent a 5-star hotel, a place where they wouldn't have to worry about taking care of and later have to pawn off in the face of impending doom? Much like what Anderson's doing now? Speaking of ownership, what happened to Shepard's apartment on Enticey? What's more relaxing than a place meant to be relaxed in during retirement? And what about Kaylee? Why isn't Anderson thinking about leaving a luxurious place to the love of his life? Glad Shepard could take your mind off the fate of your apartment between Reaper attacks and keeping soldiers alive on a post-apocalyptic Earth. Remind me to never recruit Anderson for a suicide mission.
We gotta move!
From here, Shepard can explore the apartment, but aside from admiring the new textures and set pieces, There really isn't much to do here aside from listening to audio notes of Anderson's memoirs. A little odd having notes scattered around the apartment considering how organized this place is, and wouldn't it make more sense for Anderson to take notes on his Omni tool? Also, Bioware couldn't have been bothered to make a simple talking heads video of Anderson's interview with Kalisa Agilani? Wait a minute, Kalisa Agilani? Why would Anderson do an interview with a reporter with a strong bias, and since when does she work for Alliance News Network? I thought she worked for Westerland News. This couldn't have been a pre-recorded interview between Anderson and Emily Wong. Nitpicking aside, these notes are actually well done, giving us more insight on Anderson's past and his character. I only wish some of these notes could have been part of a cutscene where Shepard can acknowledge what Anderson's saying, especially the ones where Anderson's talking about Shepard and how much Anderson cares about them.
I still remember my XO asking what my orders were. Shepard, I said, let's see what we can find.
While exploring, the apartment makes it a point for us to know that Shepard has an email. Joker invites Shepard out for some sushi, and off we go! Some nice shots of the Silver Sun Strip and gawking looks from disappearing clones later. Shepard arrives at a high-class sushi restaurant with a French host because funny? Is serving sushi as a French cuisine supposed to be a joke? It's great to see that 30 years after first contact, aliens will appreciate Earth cuisine enough to garner such high classiness on the Citadel, and somehow in the same time span, humans forget that sushi is a Japanese food.
The French are such sushi masters.
I think BioWare missed an opportunity to exploit Asari more by having Asari hostess dress up as a geisha, but I guess they couldn't come up with a way to stylize traditional Japanese outfits to make them more futuristic. Also, are those Turians eating Earth sushi? How? A later conversation implies that they don't have any Dextro-based food, so it couldn't be some sort of Dextro substitute. Which brings up another question. Where's this French sushi restaurant stock coming from, given that Earth isn't currently exporting any fish? Are they pillaging other foreign ecosystems for resources? It might explain why there aren't any Hanar eating here. Paying no mind to the now empty strip, Shepard meets up with Joker.
Let someone else do the work for once. Hackett's orders. You're on shore leave.
Yeah, whether we like it or not.
Okay, so here we get a chance to hear Shepard subvert the Reaper plot and justify taking a vacation in the middle of a war as a key person leading the war.
I'm sure you'll manage.
Or not.
I may need a drink that comes with an umbrella.
Spectres are an ideal, a symbol, the embodiment of courage, determination, and self-reliance. You are the first human Spectre, Commander. This is a great accomplishment for you and your entire species.
I'm the first human Spectre. I'll get you 2 umbrellas.
Our savior, everybody. Millions of people are dying as the days pass. Drinks will have to wait though, as Shepard learns that Joker didn't send Shepard an invitation for dinner, right when Mayasu warns them that someone's stealing Shepard's personal information.
Alliance.
Yeah, I think he's aware of that.
No, I don't mean Starburst and the Reapers. I mean other people. New people. It's...
Merc's attacking Shepard sends Joker to find the rest of the crew, rather than finding C-Sec for help. Joker escapes through a conveniently unmarked emergency exit that these skilled mercenaries left unguarded. Shepard takes out a Merc, steals his gun, which, despite Joker's protest, I highly doubt our brick of a protagonist intentionally set this up. Shepard revives Mayasu, because being dragged on a glass board really takes a toll on a person, only to have Mayasu take a bullet for Shepard. Shepard gets shot at, which breaks the glass tank under them, and sets up jokes and references to be overused in this DLC. We get a promo shot, note the lack of armor, and despite taking some heavy hits on the tumble down, Shepard's able to walk and fire like it didn't even happen. And before you can say Metagel, Mayasu radios Shepard, having survived the gunshot, and not taken hostage by the Merc, to inform Shepard that she's used up all the Metagel in Shepard's inventory. How? And who's they who told Mayasu that Metagel would make her jumpy? The Citadel paramedics? And since when is jumpiness a side effect of Metagel? Also, why are there big fish about? The fish in the tanks above were small and looked nothing like these. Shepard walks past some civilians and crowded groups of people conveniently blocked off by wrecked sky cars, only to walk into a section of the marketplace that has been completely emptied out. Here Mass Effect 3 tries to be a stealth game by introducing the suppressor aspect of Shepard's new gun, an aspect never before mentioned or needed. I have to question why a merc would bring a stealth pistol when everyone else is wielding loud assault rifles, and don't seem to be the least bit concerned about being loud. Not only is this pistol silent, but it also has little recoil and it's overpowered for its class, so why is no one else using it? Shepard's squadmate love interest, or Liara, if Shepard is in a relationship with a non-squadmate or has no love interest, lets them know that they're on their way. Shepard overrides the lockdown gate using their Spectre codes, and rather than closing the gate again to keep from being pursued, sets off an alarm instead, for some reason.
I'm detecting multiple alarms across the wards. What's the situation?
Thought I'd make things more interesting.
I see. Did you sustain cranial damage in the fall, Commander?
The area is still empty of civilians and blocked off by either junk or crashed skycars. How? Did the mercs clear out all the areas? Is all the pile of rubble the result of Cerberus' attack on the Citadel? If that were true, why is the rest of the Silver Sun Strip untouched while the Presidium still looks like a wreck? And if the mercs did do all that, how did they know Shepard would end up there ahead of time? That's a lot of variables to work out. Now, credit where credit's due, the market environments are very nice. Imagine if the shopping floors looked like this, had bustling crowds and vendors similar to Mass Effect 2, minus the computer kiosks, and were connected in a similar fashion to Mass Effect 1 with stairs and elevators that were positioned at different locations, rather than making the Citadel feel like one single giant skyscraper. Shepard meets up with her love interest, or Liara. They comment on what Shepard's wearing despite the fact that their clothes isn't any different than what they're wearing on the ship. And the string of Shepard and fish tank jokes begin.
We'll talk about it later.
Hold on. How did they hear about Shepard falling through a fish tank? Joker's the one who got a hold of them, but he wasn't there to witness Shepard falling through the fish tank. And they couldn't have just heard it from Maya Sue since they were just introduced a few minutes ago and it wasn't brought up. And if Joker was the one who told them, how did he hear about it? Maya Sue? Given her motivations later, I doubt that. The involvement of a love interest squadmate is a nice touch, even though it's clearly pandering. But how does Shepard's romantic love interest, or lack thereof, change anyone's position on the Citadel? Death is one thing, but love? I guess it's one of those aspects of Shepard that bends the galaxy, like their gender. Also, why does Liara check out Shepard if they're not in a romance? Anyways, the crew need to open the gates to the Skycar lot, which its controls are behind a locked door by a cowering manager. Shepard, diplomat that they are, wants to shoot the window to get to the controls when their squadmate stops them and just asks the manager to open the gates for him. Huh? I can understand a renegade Shepard's first instincts would be to do that, circa Dragon Age 2 personality trait. But a Paragon Shepard? So much for using your words, Shepard. The crew get out to the C-Sec shuttle, only to find out that it's a trap. Then Wrex jumps out and takes out the shuttle single-handedly by jumping on it. Then the crew with nothing but his fist and his headbutt. If Wrex is killed, James shows up with a grenade launcher of some sort. But where did James get that heavy weapon? It couldn't have been lying around the Citadel given the weapons ban. And why doesn't James pull out another heavy weapon out of his ass anytime during the game? Hey, don't just toss that aside! Wrex just happened to be in area because he was arguing with the Council over Krogan expansion? Aren't you supposed to be busy rallying Krogan for war, helping out Palaven, and making more Krogan? At least that's the reason you gave us as to why you can't fight alongside Shepard on the Normandy. Yet Wrex can take the time out of his busy schedule fighting a war to argue Council over Krogan expansion? Since when did Wrex care about Krogan expansion? He only cared about curing the Genophage to save his people from extinction. When did Wrex and Reeves switch personalities? Don't make the Dalatrass right, Wrex! Speaking of tonal shifts, Wrex's tone throughout this DLC and the rest of Mass Effect 3 sound very off compared to the past two games. Wrex sounds a bit over the top, almost cartoonish.
Let's move, Pyjack. It's time to cure the Genophage. Shepard, get your ass up here. I can't fly around forever. Make way! Make way!
I don't know if Steve Barr was having issue doing the voice, or if he was given bad direction during recording, or if it's all just the writing, but Wrex always sounded a bit off to me throughout Mass Effect 3. Shepard and company fight off an infinite number of mercs as they wait for Joker to pick them up via recycled multiplayer mechanics. They head back to Shepard's newly acquired apartment, which raises the question, why aren't they waiting for them there? If they've been hacking Shepard's personal information, surely they would have known about this very recent transfer of ownership. And if they didn't, the obvious inside woman would have tipped them off. The crew talk about the situation, and Shepard can bring up calling C-Sec and Bailey for help. Finally, Shepard's using their brain. However, Maya and the crew discourage this idea, stating that whoever they call for help would become a target, and they should know
She's
more
right,
before calling
Shepard.
for help.
Until
This
we know
makes
more,
no
it will
sense.
be a-
That's like wanting to call the police during a break-in, but not doing so because you don't know the identity of the burglar. In that case, Shepard might as well just leave the rest of the crew out of this. While they're at it, they might as well tell all the soldiers they should leave the battlefield lest they become the target of Harbinger's Shepard obsession. If
Okay.
Shepard was worried about Bailey
For now, we run
specifically,
this
why
ourselves.
don't they just call the equivalent of the Alliance NCIS? You know, the Alliance Intelligence?
Did you sustain cranial damage in the fall, Commander?
Shepard asks Maya Sue about her involvement and
Ideas?
asks where they should start. The squad will bring up
What
the
about
pistol
the
that
pistol
Shepard
you
took
picked
off the mercs, and Liara, out of nowhere, starts to analyze it for clues.
A shame about the sushi place, though. It was a favorite.
Enter Joker with the rest of the squad mates. And
Steve!
now we get a moment to chat with our shipmates. Edie, Javik, and Tally make a reference to the sushi take incident, with the last conversation not fitting into Tally's somewhat retcon backstory. Joker bitches about the bait incident. Steve jokes about eating out with Joker. Caden tries to justify the apartment. Jane reminisces about an anime with his space turtle buddy. Or gloats about saving your ass while pondering Maya Sue's relationship status in both cases. Garrett states the obvious, Rex strokes his own ego, Ashley strokes Liara's ego. Shepard tells Liara that Maya Sue reminds them of her from Mass Effect 1, and Maya Sue lives up to her namesake. When Shepard is done connecting with characters, Liara shares her
We
findings.
have a lead. I called in some favors to run a trace on the gun. It led me to a casino owner named Elijah Khan. He's been suspected of using his profits to smuggle weapons onto the Citadel. Immediately after the attempt on Shepard's life, Khan made an interesting call.
I'm cutting you off. I'm returning your down payment now. What's the problem? Turn on a vid screen. When I sell a gun, I don't want it showing up on the nightly news.
Is Elijah Khan talking about the M11 suppressor that Shepard picked up? Was Shepard recorded waving the gun he stole off the merc? How would the news know where Shepard got the gun if they haven't talked to the media yet? And it couldn't have been another merc since no other merc ever uses the pistol.
And if you even think of coming after me, I've got info on you ready for prime time. So you ponder that. Khan out.
What information is this? We're never told, and what data does get recovered later isn't that scandalous. If Elijah Khan knew the identity of Shepard's attacker, I doubt he would have ever become involved in the first place.
So that's our identity thief.
Looks like he's got an ID disguiser. Those things are a pain in the ass to get around.
Did you get anything on the mercenaries who attacked us?
They're a private military corporation called Cat 6. As most of you know, Cat 6 is an Alliance nickname for dishonorable discharges. Many have criminal records, histories of steroid abuse, and other charming features. No doubt hired by the thief, not by Khan.
And that's all the motivation we get for the mercs, who don't seem to be concerned with the war against, what are we supposed to be fighting again?
That phone call was pretty damning stuff. How'd you get it?
It involved the weapons biometric data, Solarian intelligence, and a Hanar prostitute with camera implants.
Seriously?
No, but the truth is boring.
Khan didn't sound friendly to whoever that voice was. Maybe he'd pass on that info to us.
That would take some extremely smooth talking. If he sees you, he'll probably assume you're looking for revenge. The casino has a panic room. Chances are he'll have gone to ground there. Edie can give us programs to hack the door, but the cameras and guards complicate things.
Yeah. Khan could disappear, or worse. If his guards ever open fire, normal people could get hit. Like I did.
So, the plan is to infiltrate Khan's casino, gain access to his panic room where he's hiding out, without alerting guards as to not cause a shootout with civilian casualties. It all hinges on an air vent. Again.
Who will go in this shaft? They need to be small in size.
Yeah, that's not me. How many snacks of roast Farron leg?
I suspect my suit's built-in tech would be picked up by security sensors.
Tally suspects, but doesn't know for sure. The collectors didn't detect Beator, and they were far more technologically advanced, so probably not?
My presence in the casino would arouse suspicion. Mechs are not allowed, since they can have cheating software.
Edie, you're in the body of an infiltrator bot. Why don't you just pop on a disguise and infiltrate like Dr. Eva? Your Rule 34 fans didn't forget this fact. Why did you?
What you need is somebody trained in zero emissions tech. No electronics, no metal, just undetectable polymers.
Well, it just so happens that I know the best thief and infiltrator in the galaxy. I guess this is where they're going to start introducing the Mass Effect 2 characters into the plot.
Alright, you're in.
Oh, I guess not. Gee, whatever gave me that idea. Wait, what? We're going to let someone we just met who only has basic training under her sleeve go on this high-risk mission? Because everyone has too much tech? What about Liara? What's keeping her from doing it? Or the Vermeer survivor? Or hell, even James? Where's my option to say no? And just like that, we drag Maya Sue along.
If that's settled, it looks like there's one last hurdle to get us inside.
Which is?
Black tie required.